Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
To create a recurring invoice, open the Invoice window by clicking the Create button and then clicking the Invoice link. Then click the Make Recurring button in the toolbar at the bottom of the window to open the Recurring Invoice window. Type a name for the recurring invoice template into the Template Name field. Then use the Type drop-down to select the type of recurring invoice you are creating. Selecting the Scheduled command from this drop-down makes a scheduled recurring invoice that is automatically created in the future. To create the invoice in advance of the date that you enter into the interval section, enter the number of days in advance of that date into the Create Blank Days in Advance field. Selecting the Reminder choice from the Type drop-down simply reminds you to create the recurring invoice, but does not automatically create it. If selected, you can enter the number of days in advance of the interval date to be reminded into the Remind Blank Days before the transaction date field. Selecting the Unscheduled choice from the Type drop-down creates the recurring invoice template in the Recurring Transactions list, but does not schedule the recurring invoice. You must choose it when you want to use it. You must select a customer name from the Customer drop-down or type a new customer name into this field. The Email field shows the selected customer's email address. Check any checkboxes in the Options section that you want to apply. You can check the Automatically Send Emails, Print Later, and/or the Include Unbilled Charges checkboxes if needed. If you select either the Scheduled or Reminder choices from the Type drop-down, then the Interval section appears on screen. This lets you set the recurrence interval for the recurring invoice. The first drop-down directly under the interval label lets you choose daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Depending on your selection, then set either the day of the week, day of the month, or the month and date for the recurring invoice. Then set the start date for the recurrence in the Start Date section. Then use the End drop-down to set when to end the recurrence. You can choose to end it after or by a certain date by selecting either choice and then entering a date or entering the number of occurrences. You can also select the None choice to leave the recurrence pattern open-ended. In the next few sections, enter any normal invoice information that you want the recurring invoice to contain. Information you enter here automatically appears within this invoice when it's created in the future. If creating an unscheduled invoice, you can often leave some fields blank and then enter them or change them after selecting this invoice template in the future. The toolbar at the bottom of the window contains Cancel, Clear or Revert, Customize, and Save Template buttons. Clicking Cancel cancels the recurring invoice creation. Clicking Clear clears the form but doesn't close it. If modifying an existing template, the Revert button will appear here instead. Clicking Revert cancels changes and reverts the existing template to its prior version. Clicking the Customize button lets you select a new invoice template to use, edit the current invoice template, or create a new invoice template by selecting a command in the pop-up menu that appears. Clicking the Save Template button saves the recurring invoice template.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.